Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm Ashley Tepler, founder of Holistically Happy Health, and welcome to my part two of my video series, Why Dieters Fail and What You Could Do Differently to Guarantee Success. I'm super excited to get more into it because I know that in the end, if you take these exercises and do them, and really put some energy and thought into this, you absolutely will change. And the biggest obstacle stopping people from changing is really themselves and expecting results overnight and expecting somebody to hand them a meal plan and follow it and have their life change. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. If information were the answer, we would all not have to diet, right? There's a million diet books out there, how to lose weight books, how to eat books, and yet everyone is still struggling because you have to get underneath all that and to the mindset of why you eat the way you do and what you could do differently and how you can do it. So yesterday we focused on your readiness to change. Today we're going to analyze the costs and the benefits of making a change. In other words, why you should make a change and what happens if you don't, quite simply. Go grab the handout that came with today's email. It's called the Cost Benefits Analysis Worksheet. And this tool will help you identify everything you have to gain by making a change. And quite frankly, what you have to lose by continuing the way you have been going and your unhealthy eating habits and behaviors, because it usually just gets worse. On average, I think people gain like 5 to 10 pounds every year or so as they age, and that's just because our body eventually it just stops working as efficiently when we're filling it with processed food, sugar, etc. And we also tend to move less as we age. So I really encourage you to just take a few minutes, that's it, and do this simple exercise. You might think, oh, this isn't going to really make a difference, but this is the stuff that actually does make a difference and gets you thinking and builds awareness around it. And once you have the awareness, you cannot take it away. So it's going to make you act differently in the future. So on the top of the form, I want you to identify the change you want to make. And it's okay for now to use general terms like want to eat less sugar or less processed foods, or I want to cook more at home, or just eat more clean, etc. Or maybe it's you just want to like start exercising. So I want you to list out all the costs if you do not make this change. And what would be the health ramifications? Are you pre-diabetic, which a lot of people are pre-diabetic and they just don't know, which is really scary, because that doesn't just reverse on its own without some work on that. Maybe if you make these changes, you won't need blood pressure medication, or maybe if you make these changes, you'll have some more energy, and you'll have, with more energy, you tend to have more time to do things that you love, because a lot of people who struggle with weight and food have the FLC syndrome that Mark Hyman named, and stands for feel like crap syndrome. And it's really just due to poor eating habits. And it's when you wake up and you have a hard time waking up, or you have low energy throughout the day and you have to, use caffeine or sugar to keep you going. And then you have stuff that you want to do during the week or on the weekends, but you just feel really tired and you would just rather lay around, and you're just missing out on life, and you're just living your life not feeling good, feeling like crap. And it's sad because a lot of people think that's normal, and it's so not normal. If you go to other countries especially, you see people well into their 60s, 70s moving better than some of people in America that are in their 30s and 40s. And it's just because of our lifestyle and our eating. So If you think that's normal, I want you to know that is absolutely not normal. You know, I hate when people say like, oh, I'm just getting old. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. So what will happen 5 years from now if you don't change right now? That's something to think about too, because things, you know, if you look back at the past year or two and you look at your New Year's resolutions, you haven't, you know, done them, or if you feel like you've gained more weight since then, or you move less since then, well, what's going to happen in 5 years? You know, by the age of 50, like, I don't know what the stat is, but it's scary the amount of people on medication. That doesn't need to be that way. It's just they don't change their lifestyle. So, what effect will it have on your self-confidence? You know, your most significant relationships, maybe with your kids or your partner or even your friendships. It's my foster dog barking. Do you think she's a guard dog for the building? Your career goals, you know, all your plans for the future. We forget how much food and lifestyle affect that. So many people just live a mediocre life and just kind of like on autopilot and go day after day feeling like crap. And it's like, why? You know, there's a much better way of living, and you don't have to accept the status quo just because everyone else is. Um, so I really want to encourage you to be brave and get into, you know, the pain and the scary stuff of what your life will look like in 5 years and 10 years if you continue on this path. And I know it hurts, but I strongly believe that taking the time to really think about it and experience, you know, the reality of it is going to be a huge motivating factor. Make, you know, a really firm commitment to yourself, because if you don't, you know, it's like being in denial. You can only be in denial for so long. What happens is people are in denial. They see themselves, you know, getting worse, etc. And just, you know, they think, oh, don't have consequences yet, until they end up at the hospital with a stroke, which is actually happening younger and younger in our generation. People in like their 30s now are having stroke who thought they were seemingly healthy. And diabetes is on the rise, you know, all medication, depression, anxiety, that a large amount of it is just due to how people live. You know, when you feed yourself crappy food, you don't move, and you're stressed all the time and relatively unhappy, that takes a toll on your body. So all of it has consequences. And now I would like you to think about all the ways your life will change for the better if you do something about it, your health. So will your weight loss give you enough confidence to pursue a new hobby, or change careers, or even look for a new relationship? You know, what'll happen if you take the action now? A lot of people don't date because of how they feel about themselves. They're like, oh, when I lose weight, I will. You know, they feel too insecure and their self-esteem is too low. Or a lot of people stay in the same job because they just, they don't feel good about themselves for the same reasons, and they don't have the energy, and they have that brain fog, etc. So I really want you to like get real with yourself and honest with yourself about how it's holding you back, and how it'll improve your life if you start eating better, and if you lose some weight, or if you start exercising this year. And I want you to really imagine it and dream it, because a lot of times we don't let ourselves do that. And it's like we don't think we deserve it is what it comes down to, or you don't think it's possible for yourself. I remember feeling that way. You know, I just thought that dieting and struggling with food is what everyone did, or I saw people around me do, and it's supposed to take up that much time or energy in my head, and I'm supposed to just like, you know, when I got real about how much was affecting my life and how it was holding me back, it was like really painful to do. But I had to really look at that and then think of like what was possible if I wasn't struggling with it. So, like for myself, I had to rely on caffeine and sugar. I was like on a strictly caffeine and sugar diet because I was like, okay, if I'm going to eat, then I'm going to save my calories for the stuff I want that I'm going to eat anyways, which was Starbucks muffins, drinks, pastries. So that's what I did for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And eventually I just found myself needing more and more and just like not having the energy to do anything or having to like exercise a ton because I was stuck in that vicious cycle of like being into my sugar cravings and having to exercise more and then eating it again and punching myself some more. So I want you to complete this cost benefit analysis, revisit your readiness to change ruler, because these revelations you're experiencing today should move your mark further to the right on your readiness to change if you're really digging deep. These exercises are a little bit emotionally draining and scary to do, but if you give yourself the permission to do it and then trust, that by looking at this stuff, you can make some changes. It's really powerful work, and this is where the change happens. So if you feel emotionally drained and exhausted, tomorrow I'm going to give you a break and we're going to work on your SMART goals so you're not just stuck with, okay, I see like what's happening, what's in my future. I don't want that. I want something different, and what can I do about it? And the SMART goals are going to give you an action plan. So until tomorrow, I want you to eat good, move daily, and choose happiness.